welcome to the 92nd episode of Recluse Horror. This is a daily horror movie review podcast. With me again today is Sam. Samuel.
What? Hi.
With me again today is Samuel.
As always. Except for when I'm not.
Yeah, which is more of the time, actually.
Except for when I'm not.
So just a little background on the project. Back on my birthday, in April of last year, I decided I wanted to watch and review a horror movie every single day. I have done so for the past 359 days. Although only the last 92 have been podcasts. Before that, it was text reviews. So the one that we watched today was definitely not what I was expecting, and it's not exactly what I was in the mood for, but I did enjoy it. It's called The Silent from 2015. Sam, how did you like The Silent from 2015?
Why don't you talk about it a little bit?
So it...
Well, inform my opinion.
Sure.
That.
It is kind of one of those things that you have to let rest and sit in your brain a little bit for sure. So I don't really know how to synopsize this one very well. It's about a little girl.
And stuff happens.
Yeah.
That we can't talk about, because then that's the film.
Basically, yeah.
We can almost talk about nothing.
Almost talk about nothing. So the visuals are definitely a very, very strong factor in this. There's some very, very good acting as far as emoting is concerned, and there's no lines at all in this. Not one line. Everything is told visually. A lot of it through expressions, and there are some legitimately unnerving expressions in this, and sometimes they don't even really change very much. That was like one of my favorite parts, is that they'll just sit on somebody and their facial expression shifts slightly, and all of a sudden it starts getting kind of unnerving, and you're like, why are they looking like that? The choice of locations and everything was very good. You do have to pay attention to this one a lot more than a lot of horror movies. Again, there's no dialogue. There's really not even visual storytelling in like the instance of there being any real actions that happen. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's weird that way, actually.
Yeah. It reminds me of that exercise that they talk about where, like, it's like a film school exercise or something like that, where they cut to, like, a bowl of cereal, and then they cut to somebody's face making some weird expression, and then they cut back to the bowl of cereal or something, whatever it is, like a static image of something, and it just changes the impression that you have of that cereal based on the expressions that are being flashed, in between those shots. This isn't that. It's definitely not that. But it has that same feel of, like, just staring at something over a certain amount of time, and then the mood that's already been established in it colors your feeling for something that could be completely innocuous otherwise. So have you formulated an opinion about whether you like this one?
Okay. I liked a lot of the shots.
Mm-hmm.
Some were super good.
Yeah.
Some of the scenery and setting of it were super, super good.
Mm-hmm. Very good lighting, natural lighting, and otherwise.
There was some good acting done in this short film.
Mm-hmm.
And whether I liked it or not, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for my opinion on this.
Oh, that's good. So I have you under oath now that you're going to be on tomorrow's episode too.
I'll just run in for a sec.
Yeah, just run in for a second.
You're like, I'm still undecided. I'll see you next week.
That's probably exactly what you're gonna say. But yeah, no, I fall on having liked this one. I actually felt the urge right after watching this to rewatch it. Not because it was, like, better than anything else I had seen, more because I was like, okay, now that I know where it's going, and now that I know that I have to pay a specific type of attention to it, I can do that and rewatch it. I didn't end up rewatching it back to back like that because I don't really have time, because there were some Tekken matches that I had to watch from the NorCal regionals that I couldn't watch this morning, and And so I did that instead, because esports. Because eat sports. No, I had to watch those, so it's already late. It's already way late. I should have recorded this a long time ago. What did you think about the way the storytelling worked once you got around to it and kind of put the pieces together a little bit of what they were trying to show you? How did you like that? Just say what was the question.
I know what the question was. I just don't know the answer. Some of it was more jumbled than I think it needed to be. Mm-hmm. Maybe they jumbled it more.
Obfuscated.
Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, that's what gave the feel of the film. Mm-hmm. So maybe if they did it less, it wouldn't resonate as much.
That's kind of what I feel about it, because I kind of felt the same way in the first half, and then the second half, once I started to sort of put it together, there's this one particular image where you start to put it together, if you see it, if you notice it, it's not on for a short amount of time, but it is, they don't lay on this image, but once you get that, then you understand kind of what's happening, and at that point, I was like, okay, no, they kind of needed to make this as vague as they did. To me, I felt like they needed to make it as vague as they did, otherwise there would be no mood, and it would just be like a bunch of random imagery. This does actually add up to something at the end, if you follow it.
Yeah. It's actually, story-wise, it's actually very much like another movie, that if you watch it and understand it, you'll be like, it's like this movie, but it's not shot in the same way, and the theme isn't really the same, I guess. But I'll say it after, and you'll be like, yeah, that is this story.
I'm super curious, actually, because I'm just gonna pause. That's definitely the film that you just mentioned is definitely not. It's not as artful as this one, nor is it trying to be, but it is a very popular movie that people probably know. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of got the impression that might be what was going on pretty early, just based on some of the stuff. What did you feel about the acting from the little girl? Because the little girl is no small part of it. And sometimes child actors are so hit
she was
and miss.
fine. I think she played the part really well. It was a very specific acting style, I think they wanted her to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that was good. I think it was achieved.
I think, again, like, I was really impressed by some of the emoting from her. And again, it could be that thing, that cutting back from the facial expressions onto the cereal.
Yeah, she's the cereal in the analogy. Exactly.
It could totally be that she's the cereal. But I thought that there were a couple of things where I was like, like, just from her, like in a good way, like, that's, again, it's like slightly unnerving. It's not totally disturbing or anything like that, but that would have been too much for this. I think the subtlety and playing that line was very, very well done. And I was really impressed. All of the facial expressions from pretty much everybody. There's like one person who I was like, okay, that could have been done maybe a little bit better, but that might have come down to editing in this specific moment, a tiny, teeny, tiny little moment. But yeah, just generally speaking, I thought all of that was really good, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I definitely liked this one. It's not every horror movie, and it could probably be argued that it's not much of a horror movie, really. But I think that would be kind of a, like, okay, yeah, there's no blood and guts and gore, but it's definitely unnerving. It may be more of a psychological thriller a little bit, but it's in a horror, like, capsule, I think.
Yeah. I was kind of like
psychological horror.
After the movie, I was kind of like, was that even horror? And you think about it, and I guess it technically has to be, just because of the specifics of the movie. But the feeling and maybe even like some of the theme don't really feel that way. But just
not until you put it all together.
Yeah. That's basically what I was trying to say.
The journey doesn't feel like a horror movie, but the destination, once you've gotten there, you reflect on it and you see, oh yeah, that was a horror movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at.
Yeah. Okay. I would pretty much agree with that. I don't know. I really did enjoy this one. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is actually really weird. Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, and I could see a lot of people not liking it, especially since I'm having a hard time deciding whether I like it or not like it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's one of those things that's, like, if the good stuff sticks with you, yeah, I'll like it. And if I just think about the stuff that, like, is kind of, like, I don't know, just not as, doesn't resonate as much, and that if that negative stuff doesn't resonate as much with me, then I won't like it. But, like, at a first watch scenario, you're just kind of like not sure, right? But I could totally see somebody watching this be like, fuck, I hated that, just straight out. Yeah, because I kind of felt that way until I thought about it a little bit more.
Yeah, it is one that you need to sit with and stew over a little bit, and maybe even watch again.
For some people, and hard for me sometimes to do, because it's just whatever. I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. I don't care. I hated it.
This is sort of the sort of short film that is made for people who, like, again, I know I've mentioned this a few times, but, like, if you're somebody who, like, when there's a movie where, like, critics love it and audiences hate it, and you generally find yourself siding with the critics, like, this is the sort of movie that I feel like you would enjoy. That's not necessarily the case, but it is pretty artistic on that level, in that, like high art, I mean, not art house by any stretch of the imagination, but, like, one of those ones that's not trying to be a regular narrative, and modern audiences, general audiences, don't always find those appealing. So, if you like slow movies or movies that critics enjoy, this might be something that you would check out. If you like visual heavy movies, with good imagery and maybe some symbolism, and stuff like that, then this is definitely something that you'll probably want to check out if you're interested in short films. Anybody else you can think of? If you like, if you like facial expressions, or if you're interested in like seeing how just the slightest, subtlest change in something,
I could see a lot of people just really hating the movie because of the way it is. Yeah, the way it's put together.
No, it is definitely not something that is for everyone. If you're an actor and interested in seeing how subtle shifts in facial expression can totally change the mood, if you're somebody who's a filmmaker who's interested in seeing how editing can shape it, like I said, like we were talking about before, there are scenes where it seems like the little girl is the bowl of cereal in this analogy, and even though her facial expression is not terribly far off from something you'd see just a regular little girl having, it does seem sort of disturbing. And if you want to see, like, the type of editing that can help and enhance things like that, this is another good one to watch. Anybody interested in filmmaking and film craft, I think it's worth the 7 minutes. Or is it 6.5 or 7.5?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 7.5. It's also shot really well.
Yeah, and it is. It's shot very well. The natural lighting is really, really good, which we've said 15 times, but it's sometimes natural lighting is very hard to control on film.
The framing of everything is very good too.
Yes, yeah.
The camera work and so on and so forth.
Solid really editing good. Too. I think the editing is one of the high points in this, and that's not something I get to say about short films very much. But it is a real high point. I think all of the visual stuff and the acting is all high points. I don't think I have anything really negative to say about any of that. Other than that one little tiny thing that's not even really worth, like, mentioning to you off air. It was just a tiny thing that, like, didn't quite resonate quite the way that I think they were trying to play it off, but it's like a 2-second thing, so. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about for this one, or?
No, there's not much else to say unless we start talking about spoilers, specifics, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, well, how did you like where the movie went? We don't have to talk specifically about, you know.
I don't even think I could talk about where it went without spoiling it, to be honest.
Okay. Alright. That's fair. It's actually fair with this one.
I can't.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I don't know. Okay. Stop hassling me! Gosh.
Okay. I liked how they played the ending. That's as much as I'll say. I liked how they played the ending. I didn't feel like they overplayed it or underplayed it.
Yeah, it sometimes they overstate stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that too, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, if you want to watch this one, make sure you can give it your full attention. It's not...
I was very inattentive.
Yeah.
And I had to I'm just feel very what's the word?
Tired?
Always. But no, my attention span feels really bad today.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it was going to be that type of movie.
Me neither.
And I had to 4 or 5 times snap myself into, maybe not that much, but snap myself into paying attention.
Yeah, instead of just waiting for somebody to start talking.
Or zoning out.
Which isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I start zoning out. Thinking about. Don't worry what I think about.
That's probably for the best that they don't worry about that. I worry about it too much. I worry about what you're thinking about enough for the whole world. I'm worried.
They should be worried. That's who I have a grudge with. That's exactly
the world.
That's exactly the grudge I have.
The world.
Yeah.
Is with the world.
Whatever. I'm done.
Yeah.
I give it 5 question marks out of 5.
Pretty good.
That's my recommend.
Yeah. I give it I'm gonna go ahead and give it 16.5 16.8 Sack Boys. That's what I'm gonna give it. Sack Boys,
Sack of Boys.
You know, from Little Big Planet, Sack Boys?
Sack of Boys,
yeah. Sack of Boys. 16 and a half sacks of boys is too high.
Sack of Boys is
That's
too young.
high. I would like 16 and a half sacks of boys.
They should at least be 18.
Oh, God.
That's not what you're talking about.
That's not what I was talking about. Okay. Yeah. But again, watch this one. Watch this one when you're in the mood to just really focus in. You do have to pay attention to the visuals. There's no dialogue, and there's really not any actions or anything that happens. It's all imagery, even though there are people who are doing things. But it's doing things like turning and walking a couple of steps and looking at something. It's not... They aren't actions that you can just watch silently. You have to really pay attention to this one. So definitely watch it when you're in the mood for something that's sort of mysterious or creepy and you don't mind the lack of a general narrative, I would say. Word. Yeah.
I'm so good today.
Sam's
I'm on top of it today.
Sam's on
Good thing I'm back.
Hella.
Yeah, I came back strong.
Coming back strong.
And I'm paying attention to everything that's happening. I'm not spacing off.
You're not looking at makeup on the internet?
Thinking about crazy things. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm doing my own thing over here. Paying attention to the podcast.
That you're doing.
Yeah, that I'm very invested in.
Alright, so that was our review of The Silent from 2015. You can find this on the Tony Tikkanen YouTube channel. That's TONITIKKANEN.
Is there other stuff on that channel?
I think there is. I actually forgot to look specifically at what type of stuff. It does seem like this person has done a few other things. That's the director and writer and editor for this movie, so very much a singular vision.
And that little girl that was in the movie, they did it all. Yeah, although I don't know how I feel about the short film, I'd be very interested in seeing
other work. Yeah, because the directing, the editing,
really good.
is all very good. Yeah, it really is. Let me just go ahead and pull up that page and see what else they have. Bunch of stuff not in English, some vlogs. I think this person has a band, and they have some of their band stuff on here.
Cool.
It's called Heavy Tikkanen.
Okay.
No idea.
All right.
Heavy Tikkanen and Imatra Big Band. They played Kansas City, y'all. Yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't look like there's a bunch more stuff on here. I feel like I saw...
I'm surprised about that.
I know, that's really solid work for something that isn't released, other stuff isn't released on their page. I did see maybe some more stuff on their IMDb. Okay, so I looked this person up. No idea what this person's gender is or anything. I can tell you that they are not a native English speaker, or at least they don't work in English generally. This, again, has no speech, so it doesn't really matter. But That's the only thing that they've ever directed, according to IMDb. They've written a documentary series of some kind and wrote this, The Silent. And they've done a bunch of editing. So that's probably where they get their, directorial expertise from. I'm assuming editing can give you a sense of how to do that job a little bit. But this was pretty flawless on the directing. I felt like. So what did you think about that, sir?
It's good.
It's good?
What are we talking about?
You're fired. You're fired.
Huh.
By which you now have to do every episode.
That's not how firing works.
Yeah. Well, firing is a bad thing.
I'll take my severance then.
You'll take your severance?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your severance?
Money.
Money? What are we agreeing is fair?
All of it. I want all of it.
All of the money? All of the money from the podcast? From all of our advertising and our Patreon subscribers
and wealthy investors.
Yeah, our wealthy investors. All the banks and things that invested in us.
Bye. It's nice being on the podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. This is our podcast, and we're done podcasting. Goodbye from the podcast. I'm Sam, signing off. You all have a spooky day, because we're a horror podcast. And stuff.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Have a spooky day. Samuel. Tell them to have a spooky day.
I already told them to have a spooky fucking day already.
It's not going to be spooky enough if you don't tell them. Tell them!
I already did! Did you say to watch us on YouTube and on Vine Catchers and Tube Channel and Pod Channel, Cast Finder, and Vine Channel, and all the other podcasts?
Where our podcast is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't say any of that stuff.
You should.
You're very distracting.
What? I don't...
Alright. Thanks so much for listening. Sam just gave up. He's crying into his arm right now.
I'm being mad into my arm.
If you enjoyed this podcast for some reason, then please rate, review, subscribe, whatever it is on whatever site that you found us. The best way that you can help out the show is to share it with someone who's just as frustrated with me as I am.
And me.
What's that?
And me.
And you. Oh, that's everybody.
Frustrated with you, as you and the audience is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you should watch this podcast that I have. I have it on YouTube if you don't have a podcatcher.
And be double frustrated at you.
Yeah. Yeah, you should listen to the episodes. Sam, I don't think, has listened to a single episode, and he's been on many of them. So, Sam is not a listener. I'd say I've listened to about half of them, and I edit them, so it's almost like listening to all of them
episodes
more than once.
Of what?
Did you think this is Troy and Abed in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah. What show? There's no cameras. If you would like to share the show with someone and they don't have the same platform as you, or if you don't like the platform that you found us on, you can find us on Player FM, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, and pretty much any podcatcher out there. Again, I did that in a really fucking weird order. Today is weird. And you can also reach out to us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can email me at reclusehorror@gmail.com. Samuel, you look like there's something that you wanted to say.
You can't actually get me on the internet. My mom's supposed to buy me the internet for Christmas. And once I am, I'll be on GeoCities and Angel Fire. I'm really excited about checking out MSNBC and other
MSN.com?
Yeah, and other internet things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see all the Dragon Ball Z fan pages that they have?
They're called web rings, but yeah, I'm gonna join a few.
God, web rings. I forgot about web rings. Oh, that's fantastic.
My handle's gonna be Super Saiyan Sam, or Super Saiyan 5. Super Saiyan 5 Sam. Super Saiyan SSJ5 Sam.
SSJ.
At angelfire.com and GeoCities.
Okay. All right. That sounds fantastic.
What is this going to be on Real Player?
Yeah, it's probably going to be on Real Player. I was thinking of making a Shockwave game with it, too.
On Newgrounds. See if we can get on Newgrounds.
On Newgrounds. For sure on Newgrounds. Where else would you go? Hell, maybe they can start, uploading the show as a video, and we could get the guy who does Salad Fingers to do the animation.
Shut up already.
Could do the animation.
Podcast is over.
Podcast is over. Podcast has been over. I don't know why
We can cut all this.
We're gonna... no, it's too great. What parts to cut?
Cut it.
There's no chaff.
Most of it.
There's no chaff here. GeoCities.
Sorry for wasting everybody's time.
Yeah.
Including my own.
I'm gonna... if you're looking for the podcast, you can just search Recluse Horror on altavista.com.
Ask Jeeves about it.
Ask Jeeves about it.